All right, you guys. Welcome to the Charlie Kirk Memorial live stream, which I have subsequently spelled wrong in the plaque, but that's quite all right. I'll get it fixed. It says live stream, but this is live stream. So I will set down some ground rules. Like I said, I'm willing to put my differences aside, so I don't want any bad mouthing of Charlie Kirk. This is a memorial page. This is a memorial live stream. We will pay our respects to him, whether you loved him or hate him. The man did die with his boots on. So may the boatman give him a speedy trip to Valhalla. Afterwards, we will play a couple of videos. Some of his best pieces there. Hopefully, you guys have made these submissions into the. If you want to make a submission for that, it's still going to be a 1-hour show, folks. If you guys want to make a submission into the community chat, feel free to do so. I'll try to go through as many videos as possible. I'm not sure which ones would be available. A lot of his content was banned off of YouTube after they did their little purge of all materials, my material included as well. So first off, folks, let's all have a moment of silence, 1 minute for Charlie Kirk. All right. Now that that moment of silence is done, we shall proceed with a toast to Charlie Kirk, and then we will start videos. And I almost forgot to do one other thing. Hold on just a minute. Seeing as how. Seeing as how he supported it and died for it, it's only appropriate that I wear the MAGA hat during the live stream, folks. Now, we're ready to toast here. So, folks, if you got your alcohol, let's pour it out, folks. To Charlie Kirk, love him or hate him, he pissed off a lot of liberals. A lot of other people, but in any event, folks, again, I want you guys to hold off any negative comments. In this live stream, we shall not speak ill of the dead, folks. Doesn't matter whether I loved him or hate him. Big Lenny liked them. A lot of the piss troopers like them. You know what? I like Big Lenny. I like you piss troopers. We shall honor him as accordingly. So let's see what you guys have as far as videos are concerned. And no, there will not be any actual music played or so forth. We will see what's in here. Only one submission so far. This isn't a Charlie Kirk video. Unless I'm missing something. Or is this something related to it? Let's see.
Go back on X.
Yes, he definitely had guts.
Subject, but nonetheless, like, I want to give this man a moment of silence, as we all do, right?
100%. I just want to echo what you said there, Arthur. And we'll speak about the ramifications of this later, because I have huge concerns about how this is going to be used or what's going to happen with this. But we'll speak about that later because we just need to be a bit more sensitive. But
Tariq Nasheed, man. Charlie Kirk goes around to campuses talking about how violent black people are. His social media timeline goes on about how violent black people are. And in the middle of a speech discussing black gang violence, Charlie got shot by a white man. This is precisely why people like Tariq Nasheed are scumbags, man. The scumbags, dude. The man literally just got shot. And you're going to say some stupid shit about this. You piece of shit, bro. You can't even exercise an ounce of for somebody as they're going through the worst moment in their life. And you're dumb monkey ass over here saying this type of shit. You piece of shit, dude. You piece of shit, man. It's called humanity, man. I would have wished this on my worst enemy. Incredible, man. Wow. Incredible, dude. Holy shit, bro. I guarantee you if the roles were reversed and something happened to Tariq and Charlie found out about it, he would offer his condolences. He would say, I'm praying for Tariq Nasheed. I guarantee you Charlie would exercise 10 times the this piece of shit is exercising right now. If Tariq got shot and Charlie heard about this, he would pray for him because he's a Christian. I know he would. This scumbag is over here saying this stupid shit. Wow. I don't even know what to say to this scumbagger at this point.
From the point of a creator, myself, I'm like, dude, that could be any of us. So that's all I want to really say here. And we need to, give him a moment of silence because this is really bad. Like, really bad.
yeah, I agree with what you said there, Fresh. It puts everyone at risk. I mean, normally you get threats and you kind of just like, oh, this guy's an idiot. And now it's like anyone who sends you a threatening message, there's actually cause for concern. Like, people are willing to do this type of thing. I've just got a message now from some anonymous account was like, oh, I hope you get hit by a bus. So now, when you look at what's happened to Charlie Kirk, is this an actual threat? Should this be taken to the court? Should the police be involved? Because threats like that now, when you're actually physically threatening violence, that could really, you've seen what happened to Charlie Kirk. So yeah, it is cause for concern. Ryan, A, I want to hear your thoughts on it, and B, who are your inside sources in terms of...
So we're getting conflicting stuff.
Well, wasn't exactly one I wanted to start out with. I wanted to play some of Charlie Kirk's best moments. A lot of his debates here. Best shots here. So, like a compilation or so forth. But we can do this here. Indeed. We can do this.
Hello. Oh. Be respectful, guys. You can do what he wants.
Oh, can I start now? Oh. Nice to meet you, Charlie. I'm a big fan. I think you're a very beautiful man. I admire you physically. But, no homo. No homo. No homo. I did have a question. Something I don't find very interesting about you, something I find kind of repulsive, is that I believe you said that the Civil Rights Act was bad and that we shouldn't have that.
Okay, well...
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't like you as much as Charlie, though.
First of all, what's your name?
Sorry. I don't want to be, like, filmed and stuff.
Too late.
I'm anonymous, number one. Anonymous guy.
Okay. Well, hello. Nice to meet you, anonymous guy.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah, I believe in part of the essence of the Civil Rights Act went way too far, way too wide.
Oh, how did it go too far?
Well, for example, it created an entire civil rights leviathan that gave us affirmative action.
Civil rights leviathan? What do you mean?
Yeah, so if you can let me finish three words in.
Sorry.
It allowed the Department of Justice to...
By the way, folks, I won't be doing any commentary on any of the videos itself. We'll do commentary tomorrow. I just want to leave things the way it is.
Go after people that have different skin color, aka white people, and prevent them from getting jobs in college admissions.
You have a job.
I'm sorry?
You have a job.
No, you're right, I do. Right, but just until Trump came around, until the Supreme Court decision, thanks to the Civil Rights Act, if you have white skin color, it's much harder to get into a college than if someone has black skin color. Much harder. You have to get higher test scores. It's a much harder pool, largely thanks to the precedent set by the Civil Rights Act. Not to mention all the trans stuff that we're seeing. We're seeing men be able to win trophies and medals from women across the country, and they use the Civil Rights Act to justify it.
Okay, I think I see where you're coming from. So you think that it's harder for white people because black people they could have lower tech scores and get them.
It's not what I think. It's the fact.
That's what you're saying. Okay. All right. Well, I guess what I would say too. I think perhaps you're familiar with the term equity, right? Where different people have different circumstances,
it's
which leads to different outcomes.
I reject.
Okay. Well, whether you reject it or not, I think it's a prescient concept in this argument. Because what you have to understand is that when you're, for example, you're born in like a black neighborhood, you're born in like O Block or something, like a very, like a. Oh, you don't know what O Block is? Oh, well, if you're born there, if you're born in a very poor area like that, with like very low economic opportunity, very, very poor schools with very low ratings, where the average test score is much lower, when you're in that environment, you have the whole system up against you, right? So when you say in that kind of circumstance, when you're facing the whole, I guess, leviathan of systemic racism, so would you say that? Sorry, let me just finish it. When you say it's fair to, for example, lower the standard because knowing that their circumstances were like that, perhaps based on what they had was presented to them, they had the correct amount of merit to get into a school.
Okay, so are you a student here? I'm guessing you are.
Oh, yeah, I'm a student here.
Are you a pretty good student?
Oh, yeah, I would say I'm a good student. I have a pretty high GPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give your GPA to her because she's a woman of color, please?
Oh, well, you want me to give you a... Well, I mean, I can.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, sure.
You cool with that?
Yeah,
so,
I'm fine. Wait, you mean
I want you...
Like, tell her or, like,
no,
give it to her?
by force.
Like, we're swapping it.
Let me tell you what I'm going to
Okay.
do. By force, white man,
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to take your GPA, I'm going to give it to a woman of color.
Okay.
You're cool with that?
I mean, yeah, I can just work back up. Like,
there's no working back up.
I can pull myself up my bootstraps.
No, there's no working back up.
What do you mean you can't work back up? That's the whole point of conservatism, isn't it?
I'm going to keep on taking it from you because that's equity. And you're cool with that.
What? But that's not
this is equity in practice.
Equity isn't taking. Equity is applying the equal standard.
If you give, how do you get? You must take, and then you give.
Wait, what do you mean?
That which is given must first be taken.
Well, what's being taken?
Well, in this case, grades from you to grades to her.
No one's taking my grades, though. That's not what affirmative action is.
Hold on a second.
No one takes your grades.
Hold on a second. If you only have so many, you only have so many positions at University of South Florida to come in, right? There's a set number. Let's say it's 20,000 people, okay? And we're going to say we're going to lower the test standards so that somebody that's a woman of color can come in, and therefore it's harder for you. So it's a higher bar for you, lower bar for them. Definitionally, it's a redistribution of test scores to somebody else, just by the definition. And you're okay with that?
Well, I guess I would ask then, if we were to do what you're doing, I guess that's what's happening under Trump, right?
Well, no, it's actually been happening the last 40 years.
Okay, actually, yeah, whatever. Okay, so when you say that, if you do that, then, well, black people aren't going to get into school, and then they won't be able to uplift themselves. They won't be able to have prosperous families. They won't be able to, equalize the economic status, because you need to give them a little jump start. You have a car, right?
How is that? How is that? Well, no, now I know who you are.
No, it's good.
Well, no, how has that worked the last 40 years? We've had robust affirmative action.
No.
We've had hiring practices. Has it made Black America more successful?
I can answer that easily. It's because sorry. It's because sorry. What am I going for? Oh,
I don't know.
You're a funny guy. So what happened is, even after the Civil Rights Act, you know what I believe the term is massive resistance. It was a movement in after the Brown versus Board of Education in Virginia, where essentially the legislature, which was still white supremacist, which is still extremely racist, they decided that no, we're going to do everything that feasibly possible within our means to stop black people from going to white schools. You even see this in I believe it was the Little Rock Nine, right? Even after it was legalized at the state level, white supremacist mobs still mobilized to prevent it. So even if it de facto it's gone, de jure it still exists.
Let me ask you a very simple question.
Yeah.
A term you keep on throwing around.
Got you.
What is racism?
What is racism? Ooh, that's a very complicated question. But
no, it's not.
I mean, there's a simple answer, and then there's the highly theoretical answer.
Give me the simple.
The simple answer will essentially be because we have like different skin colors, that he's treated a different way than me. He has like a different upbringing than me.
No. But what is racism in practice?
It's discrimination.
Based on the color of the skin.
Based on the color of the skin, yeah.
Got it, thank you. So isn't it racist then to penalize white people to come into college or to get jobs based on the color of their skin?
Well, no.
Wouldn't that be racist? So you're arguing for a very racist policy, which is that we should actively discriminate against people based on the color of their skin, which is affirmative action in DEI in practice.
I just disagree with the premise that you can do like anti-white racism because
Wait, can you be racist against white people?
No, bro, I'm a cracker, bro. What the no, you can't be racist every time. Bro, there's so many crackers here, bro. There's your clip, bro. There's your clip. Well, what are you gonna do political violence to me, bro? Like, why are you saying that to me? You're making me scared.
Ooh, the irony of moments.
Okay.
So let me tell you what we
This was like 2 days before, I think.
believe, because you tell us what you believe.
Okay.
Your worldview is indistinguishable from the KKK. That you want to organize the world based on skin color. We want to organize the world based on merit and character, based on how hard you work, what you bring to the table. I believe it's destructive and wrong to say that people are going to be organized or have their future set based on the color of their skin. I think it's tribalistic. I think it is divisive, and I think it hurts the excellence of a country. You asked a question, well, how are we going to help other communities? You know how you help other communities? Stop pandering to them and start treating them like individuals made in the image of God, not tribes to be organized for political purposes.
Okay, so do you think, like, when Trump is now he's president, now that racism is gone now because Trump is back and we're no longer pandering, right? Do you think that the conditions of black people, do you think O Block is going to become, like, a much nicer place? Do you think that these very downturned sort of black neighborhoods that have been sort of left behind, do you think they're going to become revitalized now? Is that what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, they'll do better for sure.
You think they're going to do better? Now that we've stopped helping them, they're going to do better.
Well, see, that's an interesting thing.
Because that seems like contradictory to me, just on basic logic.
Well, actually, black Americans under Donald Trump in the first term saw the greatest economic renaissance that they saw since the 1950s.
You don't think that's due to Obama,
increases, lowest unemployment, revitalization, amazing investment in their communities, opportunity zones.
But that's when we had affirmative action, so wouldn't that be bad?
Well, again, we actually got rid of affirmative action now.
But
it's going to do it better.
Now, but I'm talking about before.
Those are unrelated things, though, just to be perfectly clear.
They don't seem unrelated to me.
Well, affirmative action is
addressing racism. They
affirmative action is, again...
So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you are. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Affirmative action is largely federal government hiring practices and the adjacent institutions. I think that all communities will do even better when we stop living under the soft bigotry of low expectations. Inherent in your argument is that we have to pander to certain communities based on the color of their skin because they can't do as well as white people. I reject the premise. I think that we should try to say, I don't care about the color of your skin. I care about what you bring to the table. And stop pandering to people based on special criteria, points, and acceptance to college, saying that we're going to make it easier for one group and harder for another group.
I don't think it's pandering, though. I think it's understanding.
Okay, but let me.
Do you think that circumstances and working based on that?
Do you think that we should have black-only dormitories in America?
No, why would I want that?
Okay, well, there's hundreds of schools that have those, actually.
What do you mean black only? Like, they're not, white people are not allowed in.
No, white people are not allowed in.
White people, yeah, that's what I said. White people
exactly,
are not allowed
correct.
in.
We have black-only graduation ceremonies across the country.
Well, those are from, well, I believe those are most likely like HBCUs, right?
No,
like
the University of Michigan has one,
has an
Yale
all-black
has
dormitory?
one, Harvard has one. So we're agreeing that that is wrong. That is the furthest extension of hyper race obsession. So you could choose one or the other. You could be race obsessed or merit obsessed. We as conservatives decide to be merit obsessed, to build a country based on how hard you work and what you're able to deliver.
Now, like I said before, there's not going to be any commentary or any responses, so don't expect those. We're just going to play a list of some of the most common moments here. So, and believe me, there's plenty of them. So I'm just going to run this montage from 2024, and I'll just leave things where it is.
Hi.
And I'll run this until bell time at 6:30, folks. So enjoy.
My name's Erin. I'm a really big fan, and I'm really excited to see both of you. I'm a little stressed because I feel like I could ask about, gun violence. I could ask about anti-Semitism on campus. But I feel like with an opportunity like this, I would really appreciate some personal advice. I'm here at the University of Pittsburgh as a social work major, and I'm really passionate about it. However, I have found that I'm leaning a little bit more Republican, and I feel like I come at a standstill with that. And I really just want to get your advice moving forward for myself. There's some obvious things I think you can think that would conflict, obviously. I guess that's kind of my question. What advice do you have for me as a Republican aspiring social worker?
What would conflict?
I don't know, how to say it properly.
I think I can help. The social work industry is very much about a perspective generally of that people in poverty are there permanently and not trying to break people out of poverty into the middle class or higher levels.
Right.
And that's why the Democrat Party and social work are very intertwined.
Right, exactly.
They view poverty not as a series of choices, but as a station in life that is immovable, largely.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. That's why my personal focus is on the children in underprivileged communities, because I personally feel like they don't choose to be put in that position. But I'm having a little bit of a difficult time empathizing with the older generation of underprivileged, and not in every community, but I don't know how to not sound bad. I know you are great at not sounding bad when you say stuff, but I don't want to say something that'll get me in trouble.
Well, here's one way to look at it. And Charlie, that was helpful, actually. The Great Society from Lyndon Johnson. It was a series of policies that were designed to help underprivileged communities.
Right.
They hurt the very people they were supposed to help.
How?
Well, the reality is it created dependence on government. So you have a lot of single mothers, for example, that are paid more money not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house because of the way the math of these aid programs
What
work.
do you mean?
Well, often the way the math of the aid is calculated is if you have an earning husband in the household, that actually causes you to disqualify for forms of federal aid that were designed to help you.
Right.
But actually, the best way to get kids in your own household ahead is in a two-parent household, because if you're raised in a two-parent household, you're less likely to end up in jail, less likely to end up in poverty, more likely to graduate from high school. So one of the ways that, if you're asking for advice, I would say for the people around you, even who might lean left, you can recognize their intentions come from a good place.
Absolutely.
But the policies of their leaders have actually betrayed the very people they were supposed to help. And you can let them know, because I believe this is genuinely true. Not just the Republican Party, but our conservative movement. We care about lifting people up from poverty. We just care about actually doing it rather than talking about it. That's what I would say.
The other thing I'll say is that we as conservatives believe that if you're in poverty, it's largely because of values, not because of lack of stuff.
Like what values?
Not saving money. Spending all of your money in your paycheck as you get it, for example. abandoning your spouse after impregnating them, not spending all of your money on alcohol and drugs and instead opening a 401k. So values are the #1 predictor of entering the middle class. And there's a great book called Life at the Bottom. You should read it, by Theodore Dalrymple, who is a social worker in the United Kingdom. It's called Life at the Bottom, where he got into social work because he wanted to help people, and he realized it was not a lack of stuff. It wasn't lack of housing, lack of food stamps. It was that their value system was one that kept them poor. So yeah, really quick, then I want to get to the next question.
I'm just struggling because in all of my social work classes right now, they're talking about all of those things. And
they're wrong.
so what do I do? I'm trying to learn about what I want to do.
I think you need to stay in social work because you're called to do it, but there's an amazing amount of literature from Thomas Sowell to Shelby Steele to Theodore Dalrymple that get down to actual root causes of poverty, which is not lack of stuff, but is worldview. And I think that'd be super helpful.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Trump 2024.
Yes, you want a hat? Thank you. Thank you. According to the way that the asylum laws are written, the entire nation of Mexico applies under asylum. Do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America? Is diversity and inclusion really an American ideal?
I knew you
Are
were-
you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here? Do you think that the American government should first have an obligation to citizens before foreigners? Nobody is asking these questions. We're just saying, if you want to come in, you can come in. Do you see anything wrong with, I don't know, taking in 5% of the population of Haiti? If someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
If I'm not gonna do my own dishes, heck yeah! Hi. All right.
Hello.
Hi. I'm gonna start off by saying I'm a political science student. I'm a second year here at K-State. And I'm a first generation student.
Try to turn it up a little bit.
Turn it up a little bit?
Yeah, perfect, great, thank you. And what's your name again?
Alondra.
Nice to meet
Alvarez. Yeah. So I just had a question because you talk a lot about like protecting and securing our southern borders. But as the granddaughter of immigrants, I think that we get into a lot of complicated disputes with the idea that immigrants are criminals, are drug dealers, and things like that. So I just want to hear what your opinion is on those expectations or those what do you call it? Those stereotypes that are put on Hispanic communities, Latino communities, and how they change the way people perceive immigration.
Sure. So, thank you for the question. So you said you're your first generation
Yes,
student
I am.
or first generation American?
I'm a first generation student.
Cool, great. Second generation American? Did I hear that right? Or-
Third generation
Cool.
American on my mom's side.
Great.
Second on my dad's.
When your grandparents, then, is that right, came
Yes.
to this country, did they do so through the legal process that was in front of them?
So my father got married to my mother, so he's a legal resident of the United States. She's been here her entire life.
But did she enter legally?
She did. She's born here. Yeah.
Got it.
My grandpa on my dad's side entered in illegally.
Okay. So, I'm not here to like insult your grandpa, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, but we must be very clear that the type of immigration that we support is when you follow our rules and you come on our terms. And that you do not break into a country uninvited and you try to cut.
Can I add something to that? The reason why he left, and a lot of people in
Sad part of the video is that he's saved and has been saved and re-uploaded 1,000,000 times. So that is true. He's going to be talked about for years, that's for sure. There's going to be statues, there will be buildings, there's going to be roads and stuff named after him. So, but again, folks, as far as everything else, this is a memorial live stream, so we'll do a full discussion of Charlie Kirk tomorrow on the Midnight Run here. So
in Mexico do is because of the political state, especially in the 70s and 80s, when they decided to move. They have a government that isn't supportive of their constituents, and because of drug problems, their only choice was to move.
Yeah, I totally sympathize. That's not true. It's never the only choice to commit a crime. And we should not put up with it. And so it is an insult to other immigrants from Vietnam and Laos and Pakistan that have to wait decades in line to morally equivalate people that come in and just break in. Oh, I have an unstable country. Like half of the world's countries are unstable.
Yeah, but that's why we have the asylum seekers program.
Which is heavily abused, and we're talking two different things. Asylum seekers and walking into the country illegally are similar but different things, right? And so so we have millions of gotaways of people that we have no idea who they are. They're not declaring asylum. They just run across the border.
Well, because they can't. The system doesn't allow other people from Mexico specifically to assign themselves
who they are the last couple of years. So look, we just have to be very clear with this, is that if you come into the country uninvited, you have committed a crime and you are a criminal. And we could decide that we're not going to enforce our laws, or we can say that when you are a criminal, you should then be punished for that crime, aka sent back to your country of origin, because you were not invited. And it is an insult, again, to the Poles and to the Czechoslovakians and from the Senegalese and people all across the world that don't have the proximity or the luxury just to waltz into America.
You call it a luxury to leave a country that has political tyranny and come into a country with opportunity?
Yes, to live in Mexico, to be able to go 100 miles north and break into America. Do you know how many people in Pakistan would kill to be on that border?
That's why we bring them in.
Well, we shouldn't, right? That's the point. And secondly, do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America?
I think that I didn't have a choice. My grandparents made that decision for me.
I'm not trying to attack your grandparents, but no one has a right to go to anybody else's country. You are invited. It is a privilege, not a right, to come into America.
So it's a privilege to live a life that requires you to have clean water, clean food, clean air.
Yes, of course it is.
And you have to fight for that?
Yes, it is not.
But we didn't?
Hold on a sec. Well,
born here, we didn't fight for that?
Well, my ancestors did fight for that, actually, and I'm a very thankful recipient of many generations of Americans that fought for the greatest nation ever to exist.
By doing what? Coming here?
Well,
illegally?
Wait, what did my ancestors do? They came over here in 1620, fought in the Revolutionary War, fought in the Civil War, fought in World War I.
So because my grandpa didn't come here in 1620, it gives him no right to have a good life?
No, he can fill out paperwork and wait in line, like the rest of the world. And then we can see whether or not it's in our best interest to allow him to come in. And so we have to weigh costs and benefits. I'm not saying we should have no immigrants, but immigration must be a net benefit for the American homeland and for the American citizen. We have brought in 10 million people in these last couple of years. We have now brought in 5% of the population of Haiti. Nobody is asking these questions. We're just saying, if you want to come in, you can come in. Do you see anything wrong with, I don't know, taking in 5% of the population of Haiti?
Not necessarily, no. If we have the land and the resources to house them, it shouldn't be that big deal to bring in immigrants.
Really? Do you think that the American government should first have an obligation to citizens before foreigners?
Okay, I think we have an
answer
obligation.
the question. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, we're obligated because we're citizens to have the rights that we have, but that doesn't mean we can't open up our borders and we have the process to do so.
You, being a younger American, and everyone in the audience, is the first generation in American history to have it be worse off than your parents. So the social, and you agree with that, social contract, poorer, more expensive. Yeah. So wouldn't it be rational for the American government to say, we're going to...
Sorry, I do have to pause it every once in a while. That avoids the copyright stuff here, so...
prioritize younger generation Americans that are American passport holders and citizens before those in another nation.
So folks, if you're seeing me pause it, that's me putting a break into the live stream itself, and that avoids any copyright issues. Like I said, a lot of Charlie Kirk's material is either copyrighted or just plain banned, so I'm just playing it directly from his site. I think that's probably going to be the best course of action here.
I don't want to say anything that offends people, but
I've
already said it, right? I've already said it. Whatever. I think that the way we're going about it is wrong, and that if we don't have a clear path to citizenship, we won't open up those opportunities for people to come and seek a good life. But I also think that we are required to have those rights ourselves.
Seeking a
as
good
American
life
citizens.
is fine. It's a nice added benefit. Our government does not exist to improve the life of foreign citizens.
But we should be open to the idea of accepting that.
Of course we are, if we have our own house in order. We are in chaos right now. We have the most depressed, suicidal, anxious generation in history. Our birth rate is collapsing. Kids can't afford homes.
Yeah.
You guys are drowning in debt. You have to compete you have to compete for jobs against foreigners. Our country is a mess right now. And so when your country's a mess and your home is in disarray and bedlam, your own government should say, time out. I have a heart for the people of Haiti. I have a heart for the people of every country. But you're not coming here until this generation at least has it as good as their parents.
But it's the stereotype that I'm given as a Mexican American to fulfill those standards that people have on immigration
I
as
don't
well.
share that. I haven't said that here today. There's people from all over the world that enter the southern border now. There's 118 countries that come across the southern border. But I don't care if you enter illegally from Bulgaria or from Laos or from Mexico or from Nicaragua. Someone who does not have their paperwork when they come in.
People, that's what happens to leaders sometimes. When someone leads a generation, when someone's a leader of their community, when someone's a leader of their state, a representative, president, vice president, someone of tremendous either political power, legal power, or any type of power whatsoever, even criminal power, there comes those times to where they do get assassinated. And yes, he was assassinated because he was a leader. And that's exactly the course of life. Throughout history, leaders have been assassinated, starting from Julius Caesar. It is not just the American way, it is the world way. Ever since almost the beginning of time.
Men is by definition breaking federal law.
Yeah,
and so then what should we do with someone who breaks with federal law?
But does that mean that people, including their children, their grandchildren, including myself, have to live with the stereotype or the standard set upon me that I am a criminal, I am a drug dealer, I am a XYZ?
Okay, so I played into that stereotype?
I've heard it many, many times, not from you specifically today.
Okay, but then it's a little bit of a red herring, right? Because we're not even talking about it. I'm not...
Well, my original question was, what do you think about it?
What do I think about stereotypes?
About the stereotype given to immigrants right now and children of immigrants and people of color here.
Well, I can't talk about something I don't believe in. So, I mean, I don't want people to be stereotyped. No different than when you look at a young white man on campus, you think he's a rapist, right? Which is...
Nah, I don't.
Well, that's good. No, but that is a stereotype that is pushed sometimes. Like, oh, if you see a young man on campus, it's campus rape culture. Stereotyping is wrong. It should not occur. But we also must understand that the way that we constitute our immigration policy right now in this country is not in the benefit of the American citizen. And we're acting much more like a colony than a country. And where a country is where you have ties that bind you together. You have a shared history, hopefully a shared language. You have a shared culture, where colonies, you come from anywhere across the world, and so be it.
Yeah, but isn't that like the point of America? Diversity and inclusion and belonging.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Where is that in the Constitution or the Declaration, that diversity and inclusion, these are false ideals that are taught in school? They're, I guess, nice, but is diversity and inclusion really an American ideal?
I think so.
Where does it say that?
I think that everyone has the right to live out their own individuality, their own lives, and their own way.
I know, but you say the American ideal. Where do you get that from? Yeah, pursuit of happiness for Americans. You're right, because that's what the Declaration
I'm an American.
Was written for. No, that's fine.
Does that mean I'm not valid here for having a diverse background?
No, of course you are, but I'm saying that what?
So can I not express that?
Don't change the topic. You said we should be able to open up the country for people from all across the world.
Yeah.
Why do we believe that is a core belief?
Because we want to help people. That's the point. We came here a long time ago. We established a country a long time ago, and we want to have other people come in, I think, to live in the luxury that we live in now.
Last question.
I knew
Are you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here?
No.
Why?
Because there's some people here that are not represented well by the media. There's a lot of illegal immigrants here that are working their butts off for the life that they want.
I don't care if they're working hard. But the point is, what should the punishment be for breaking into a country?
Depends on the crime you commit after you break into it.
Okay, that's it. I'm talking about just the crime is breaking in. What should the punishment be? I break into somebody's home. What should their punishment be?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, so if you behave after you get here, that's fine. So to play that out, if someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
If I'm not going to do my own dishes, heck yeah. They're doing my dishes for me? Cool. If they don't kill me, I'm not dead. It is what it is, man.
Well, they are killing a lot of Americans, but...
You say they. Like they are?
Yes,
like
they.
All illegal immigrants kill people? That's crazy.
Many illegals do. Actually, the crime rate for illegals is far above that of native-born Americans. And even if it wasn't, it would not be there. No, but it's just interesting. The punishment for the crime of breaking into a nation should be what it is in Switzerland and Israel and Hungary. Every person who breaks into a nation uninvited goes back to their country of origin, period.
So why
End
is
of
there an
story.
emphasis on the southern border?
Because most people come illegally through the southern border. 10 million people have come across the southern border. And by the way, do you have any concern for the 320,000 missing kids that have also been sex trafficked across the southern border?
Of course I do.
But who's doing the sex trafficking?
A handful of people, not everybody else.
320,000, that's a lot.
The children.
Yeah, but each one of them has a handler.
I'm just...
So, and that means that 320,000 sex pimps are bringing in sex slaves to this country.
The point I'm trying to make is that we categorize all illegal immigrants under the same thing. Sex traffickers, drug dealers.
Am I doing that?
And by you saying all illegal immigrants have to be deported,
Yes.
you're implying that all of them are doing these terrible things. And not a small percentage of them.
Well, it's not small, actually. 320,000 out of 10 million is not small, actually. That's...
I don't think it was Mossad. The person that did it, none, definitely knew his way around a rifle. The fact that he engraves his own stuff in on the bullets, I do find unusual. I think it's a red herring. This was a professional that probably did it, or at the very least someone who has had a vast amount of experience. 200 yards. I mean, it's not a impossible distance, but to shoot from 200 yards means that you have had practice, you've had skills here, you know. 200 yards is a very long distance.
That's a serious number.
Especially with a bolt-action rifle.
That's 3.2% of all people that came into the country are connected to sex slavery in some way. That's insane, actually. 3.2% are connected to sex slavery. That's like a lot. But anyway, so let's just kind of, I want to just make clear. If you come into a country uninvited, definitionally you are a criminal.
We're just not going to agree.
It's fine. Then
That's
final
okay.
question. What is a criminal?
What is a criminal?
No. What is it? Would you agree with the definition that a criminal is someone who breaks the law?
Here's where I'm thinking. Here's the thing. I know how he's going to turn it, and I don't fully agree.
It's not a matter of turning it. It's a very ABC sequence. If they're not criminals, then tell me what a criminal is. And a criminal is obviously someone who breaks the law. Someone who comes across the southern border broke federal law, therefore they are a criminal.
Okay, then we can just disagree.
But you have to tell me what a criminal is, though.
Trump!
Oh, Trump, yeah.
Yo!
You got to come up to the mic. Okay.
She's right behind me.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Can't tell me what a criminal is, yeah. It's so sad. It's because if you want to really get down to it, at the core, and she's a very sweet person who was there, the left cannot define core terms. Criminal, woman, racist, democracy.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm
Oh,
a
so
registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you could see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris, because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania.
Look.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking.
Well, that's
to
what we're doing here today. It's an open
I
mic.
think that you push a dangerous agenda.
Such as?
Your stance on abortion rights, for example.
Here we go. Okay, so
Let me ask a question. What is your name?
Jean.
Jean. And what is your understanding of the current Republican Party's stance on federal intervention in abortion?
Well, I know that they want to bring it back to the states, right?
So it sounds like you do know that the Republican Party's current stance on abortion is they're against a federal ban on abortion.
I do
and we're talking
understand
about a
that, yes.
presidential election as the
Yes.
important election that we're talking about here.
I understand that, yes.
Great. So, again, I think this open dialogue is great. I think it's great you're here challenging Charlie, and I think it's great that he's willing to travel campuses across this country to talk to the next generation. We need more conversation. Now, where's the disagreement, though, on content? Because you can criticize style or why you're talking to people or dunk on someone personally, but where do you actually disagree with
I
the
agree
substance?
with the way that you edit content and specifically frame it so that people look bad talking to you. The way that you edit your content.
we post unedited content.
Let me just ask you one thing though, because personal insults can fly in all directions. Where is an area where you have a disagreement with the conservative movement, with Donald Trump, with Charlie Kirk, perhaps with myself? I was a presidential candidate last year. I think we need to talk about that more in the open, and the more we do, the stronger our country is going to be. We got a long line of people, but I want to hear from you one substantive area where you have an authentic disagreement, and I'd be glad to address it. I'm sure Charlie would too.
Just in
anything.
Political.
Relating to any political topic where you have a disagreement. Let's air it.
Okay. I disagree with some of the laws that are being pushed in Congress that are against the LGBTQ community and the trans community.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to give you my view, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
My view is that if you're a fully grown adult, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want, dress how you want, marry who you want if you want, if you're over the age of 18.
I agree.
But you are not free to indoctrinate children in schools who are not yet of the age of consent. You are not free, just as you're a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old can't get a tattoo on their own, I don't think that you should be able to go or until the age of 18. And so the lines that I draw here is that men are free to claim to be women and swim in swimming pools. You're not free to claim trophies in a women's sports competition. You're not free to enter a women's locker room. You're not free to change a language. And you're not free to actually indoctrinate our children who are under the age of 5 in schools. Do we agree on the fact that adults should be able to live freely while still treating children differently? If so, we're on the same side of this issue.
Listen, I agree with the majority of what you said. However, I don't think that you're understanding the implications of the laws that are trying to be passed.
Look, we got a head start on the conversation. We got a long line behind you. But my only ask is, forget the personal attacks or the stylistic attacks. Focus on substance. The more we debate that, the stronger we're going to be as a country. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think you're focusing on substance, though. That's the issue.
Hold on. Look, he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you, and you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I have to ask, what laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, but this is what you do. This is what you do. You take people and you put them under the spotlight, and you.
Well, hold on. I didn't ask you to come up here. You voluntarily came to the front of the line. You didn't have to do that.
You're purposely antagonizing people on campus, asking
How?
people to come up by spreading your weird agenda.
How? what agenda is that? I'm confused though.
So Charlie, I'll say this. We'll end on this and we'll go to the next question. When I was 18, and I'm not going to blame you for this, I also took for granted a lot of the stuff that the media force-fed me, because that's what you know at the age of 18. You say there are some vague laws making their way through Congress that are hostile to trans community.
Know how?
I don't think those laws actually exist, but I don't blame you if that's what the cable media is feeding you. But let's get to the specifics, and then we're able to actually have an open dialogue. And that's one of the things I've learned over the last 20 years.
I think that the issue is we're getting our media from different sources. Both people are getting media from these skewed sources. The facts that you're presenting are not always correct.
And that's why we're here with no TV screens between us. So people who have policy-based substantive disagreements, we invite those. I think that's how we're going to get our country back. And as it relates to trans, which you brought up, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want. You're not free to force that onto somebody else, or especially kids. And if we agree on that, we make some progress. Thank you.
Disagreements, yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I tend to lean liberal on a lot of issues, but specifically on immigration, when I hear about like the Haitians in Ohio, taking over cities, and the thing about eating people's pets, I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
But I was wondering if you could speak a little bit on that specifically, and I'm kind of torn on the election, so if you could also speak on if we have more instances like that in the future if Kamala Harris gets voted.
Yeah, it's a great. First of all, thank you for coming up to the mic. And I want to try to win you over as a liberal for Donald Trump. So you're going to give me a chance, okay?
I will, sir.
All right, okay. That is a true open mind. So I appreciate that. Number one, we have accepted 5% of the Haitian population in this country in the last couple of years. I have nothing against Haitians. I know some Haitians. We can all agree when you accept 5% of any country's population, in addition to all the other mass migration we have, it's too much, it's unsustainable, and a government must start from this core premise. It must have an obligation to fulfill a better life for its own citizens before it opens its border to non-citizens. It's a very, very basic, fundamental thing. And as I said earlier, everybody in this audience is seeing their future worse off than their parents for the first time since George Washington. That's a big deal. Usually, at least kids are as good, if not better, than their parents, and we have that broken. As far as Donald Trump goes, there are 3 things I want you to think about when voting for Trump. Number 1, home ownership. I imagine you want to own a home sometime in your life, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, in order to own a home, you would have to make $125,000 a year right now just to be able to get the mortgage. That doesn't count your medical expenses, your student debt expenses, your credit card expenses. When Trump was president, it was $75,000 a year. We were building millions of new homes, incomes were going up. Why is it that the housing prices have gone up so much? Because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have spent $6 to $7 trillion of unnecessary federal spending, flooded the zone with these trillions of dollars, which have inflated asset prices. Number 2, as a liberal, I imagine you don't like war, right? You don't like endless war. Under Donald Trump, it was the first president in 40 years where we had no new wars. No Iraq war, no Syrian war, no Russian-Ukraine war. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we have the Russian-Ukrainian war that we've spent $250 billion on. We have the terrible situation in Israel and Gaza. I'm very pro-Israel. We can all agree, though, not a good situation there, right? Not favorable. It's just bad. A lot of human suffering, not good to witness. Under Donald Trump, none of that happened. In fact, he brought peace to the Middle East. We had the Abraham Accords, and we had a stable international circumstance. The final thing is the border. Under Donald Trump, the southern border was the most secure it was in American history, with border crossings at an all-time low. Under Kamala Harris, 10 million people have come across the southern border into this country. We have no idea who they are. They're coming into our communities. Crime is increasing. They're eating ducks and geese and cats in Springfield, Ohio. And that's just like a silly example. It's totally true, by the way.
Why?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why? When I looked it up, because the reason I'm asking you is because there's a lot of misinformation, I feel like, because when I first heard about your side of the story is what I heard, and then after that, I was hearing that there's no proof of that, so why is that?
Well, there is proof. I mean, we have tons of video I could show you, residents saying that my cat was taken by a Haitian yesterday morning and was grilled on an open fire. They won't accept it as a police report in Springfield. I know way too much about Springfield, Ohio police reports right now, but they won't accept it as a police report because it's an animal control problem. It's just, again, you have to just look at the residents. Either they're all lying and they're all in on it, or there's something to this. I'm not asking you to vote for Trump based on, cats being kidnapped and grilled and barbecued. I am saying, though, that it begs a question of, can we sustain 10 million people? I want you guys to understand how many 10 million people is. We have 10 million illegals that have come to the country, which is the population of New Jersey. Okay, that is an unsustainable amount. Under Donald Trump, we had the border secure and it will stay secure. So those three things. We had a great economy under Trump and it was easier for you guys to own homes. We had no wars, and you guys are closer to World War III than ever before. You guys that are all, by the way, military age, I hope you don't get into World War III because you might be drafted under the current circumstance, and you guys might laugh. But think about who is endorsing Kamala Harris. Dick Cheney, Leon Panetta, Liz Cheney. These are the warmongers of 20 years ago that got us into these wars. So I am not fear-mongering here, guys. The people that got us into these failed wars, by the way, this is 9/11 today, and we remember what happened on 9/11. And then we remember our terrible reaction on 9/11 when we decided to invade Iraq and Afghanistan. Let us never do that again. Let us never invade sovereign countries. Amen. And I think you would sympathize with that. And this is why we're seeing Bobby Kennedy, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, people that are card-carrying Democrats, vote for Trump and voice support for Trump. Because what's happening at the Democrat Party is this very sinister combination. It's a party of censorship, it's a party of war, a party of open borders that is against actual traditional liberal values.
I agree.
So which way you leaning?
Can I get a hat?
That's a good answer. Yeah. Thanks, man. God bless. Thank you. Thank you.
I think that's all the time that we do have for videos. So, folks, I'm going to leave you with this here. Some people were very surprised that I would do a Charlie Kirk memorial live stream. Some people thought that I would just go and spit on the person. But remember, folks, to everyone, to all my fans, my subscribers on my channels, I don't want you to agree with everything I say, okay? We're not clones. We're not lemmings. We are piss troopers. But all of us all have a difference of opinion there. You know, very strong opinions. Some people may agree with me. Other people don't. If you don't agree with me, call me out on it. Okay? Part of a First Amendment is not just speech. Speech is a number of things. It can either be commonality or differences. And we must honor and respect those commonalities as well as differences here. This show is about Charlie Kirk, but it's really about all of us here, in other words. There are some people, fellow piss troopers, that don't want me to play Charlie Kirk, and then there's other ones that do. But at the end of the day, I want everything to be pretty much global as far as this channel is concerned. So this is for those, this live stream is for those who respect, who love Charlie Kirk. Big Lenny loved him. You know, Jay Masters liked him, you know, and stuff. So sometimes you do have to put your differences, you have to put your arguments and disagreements aside for the sake, not for yourself. So I don't do this for myself, folks. Remember, anything I do on this channel, I do for Piss Trooper community, for my fans, for my subscribers. That's all that matters. That's all that is supposed to matter in life there, you know? I look at this channel as a whole, not just as an individual, okay? So again, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And you folks, y'all have a good day. Take care, stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow on the Midnight Run.